Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. In our first story, quit your job and raise my kid. Let's jump right in. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is a piece of work. She is high maintenance and demanding to the extreme. She will demand things from my parents. If they say no, then she gets mad, refuses to talk to them, and takes it out on my brother until he calls up my parents to ask them to apologize because it's making his life a living hell. Years ago, when they had their first kid, my niece, my parents were elated at their first grandchild. Sister-in-law's mom isn't in the picture, so my mom was very attentive to sister-in-law, helping her shop for the baby, being a supportive shoulder, even offering advice and insight into pregnancy, labor, and birth. My sister-in-law lavished in the attention and things were golden until my sister-in-law went to go back to work. I was at my parents' house visiting when the phone rings. Dad answers, listens for a few, and then simply says, "I'm not getting in the middle of them. Talk to your mother," and he hands the phone to my mom. She listens a bit and then says, "Well, I'm sorry, but I'm just not okay with her plan. I'm not going to apologize and I'm not quitting my job. That's the end of it," and she hangs up. Of course, I had to demand details. So sister-in-law was going back to her job and calls my mom up, a day or two prior to this, to discuss childcare. She told my mom about all the daycares she had checked out and how expensive they all were and what a struggle it was going to be. But then she had a brilliant idea. My mom should become a full-time nanny for her granddaughter. Of course, she would have to quit her job, but since she's only 5 years from retirement, it's not a big deal. My mom graciously informed her that while she loved watching her grandchild, she was not going to quit her job. Cue hissy fit. But the only other person who could do it is sister-in-law's 90-year-old grandma, but she could only watch my niece at her house because she's 90 and doesn't drive, and she has too many pets, 3 of which were sister-in-laws that she dumped on her. Daycare is so expensive. Don't you want the quality time with your grandchild? Mom suggested maybe sister-in-law find a cheaper daycare. No, Montessori daycares are the absolute best. My mom pointed out she's never even heard of that, so there is no way her childcare would be Montessori. Mom suggested sister-in-law go back to work part-time, and then daycare would only have to be part-time and thus cheaper. No! If she wants to stay on track for her retirement goals, she needs to go back full-time. Mom then ran out of advice and finally just said, "Well, then I think you're going to need to lower your standards or find another option, because I'm not quitting my job and that's final," and she hung up on her. My mom was not happy at how hard I laughed, and of course, when I had my kid a few years later, I jokingly asked how close she was to retirement because I needed a nanny. Story number 2. Entitled parent bitches because his kid can't get the summer program he wants. A little backstory. I started fostering this little girl late last year. She is not yet 13 and I am in the process of adopting the girl. Through lots of trials and tribulations, it looks like it's going to happen. The kid, well, let's call her Kay to keep things simple, is smart, truthful, so much smarter than she believes. She doesn't have much confidence in herself. I have her seeing a therapist. I guess years and years in the Children's Aid Society system will do that. I managed to get her in a summer program for kids interested in all things related to STEM. We have been working on little projects at home, mostly to get her ahead in her school, like making floating concrete, fireworks, etc. I took her to an information session yesterday for the program so she can select what she's going to do in the program. Her session is the first 2 weeks in August. So yeah, we are there and going through everything, and luckily she was able to register for the last open spot in a robotics course. And what would you know? A dad and his little turd are behind us. Well, he gets up to the table and is all pissy that there are no more room in the class, and right away turns to us to say we should give up the spot for his son. Blah blah blah, that his kid wanted to do the class, but I politely declined. I never understand why a simple no sets these people off, but we are met with, wouldn't the girl prefer to be in a cooking or housekeeping class? That she's a girl and girls don't do well in technical fields. I don't lose my cool exactly, I just make the jerk-off motion in the air and say, you snooze, you lose, and walk away. The guy just continued going off that he's got a man's job, he's a machine operator, his kid is a man, that I or my kid wouldn't understand anything. More blah blah BS. The thing about the summer programs is they're run by people working in the field who are using their break to do the classes and current university students. The man working at the desk interned at the company I worked for last November, right before I left the company, so I knew him. We are friends, and he is the reason I found out about the program. He told the guy, yeah, you know, I interned for that lady, right? Like she was running the entire department at the company. She's an engineer. I was already walking away, and yeah, I wish I had a clever line to give him and do the mic drop, but I didn't. It never ceases to amaze me how pig-headed people can be. Story number 3. I'm not talking about everybody, I just want extra tickets for me. Here's the setup. I work at a dance studio for ages 2 to 18, and we had our end of the school year recital recently. Weeks prior, we had the parents of our students pick up their tickets and inform them multiple times of our COVID procedures. Each family was limited to 4 tickets due to the COVID regulations in place by the venue. They were to be seated in family pods of 4, with 4 seats in between each pod. We had a stage rehearsal the day before the recital at the venue, at which each family was only allowed 1 adult. At the rehearsal, I was working the information desk just next to the main entrance to the auditorium with a coworker. The cast is entitled mother, me, the entitled mother's kid, maybe about 5 years old, and my coworker. The action. There's a line of about 50 socially distanced people at our desk, and I just got done helping someone while my coworker is still helping someone else. That's when entitled mother with her young kid, who have walked past the line to enter the auditorium, which is fine, it's just an information desk, but not fine if you need to talk to us. They catch my attention from about 10 feet away. The following conversation is loud enough to be heard by the entire line of people. Excuse me, where can I buy more tickets for the recital? I'm sorry, ma'am, each family is only allowed 4 due to COVID. So I can't buy more? No, ma'am, we're at maximum capacity and nobody can get extras. Now she's raising her voice from this point forward. How are me, my husband, and their aunt and uncle supposed to watch the show if we can't bring our 5 other children? Ma'am, when did you pick up your tickets? A week ago, but I thought I'd be able to buy more at the door. It was written multiple times in emails and paper notes that each family was limited to 4. Nowhere was it insinuated that there would be more for purchase. This was made evident by the fact that literally no one else, even the people who had mask issues, even asked me about it. The least she could have done was call and ask instead of waiting until the day before. Well, I am sorry, but we can't just give out or sell extras. The venue has strict rules on number of occupants in order to maintain social distancing. The mother at this point pouted and metaphorically digging her heels in the sand. Well, I need more tickets. I can't believe you'd break up a nuclear family like this. At this point, my coworker had finished with the people she was helping, and the entire line was watching this adult tantrum in near silence. I'm sure a lot of parents would like extra tickets, but we can't just give them out to everybody. Here comes the line. I'm not talking about everybody, I just want extra tickets for me and my family. Well, I'm sorry, but we cannot and will not give you any more tickets, and at this point we are talking in circles. Now, if there isn't anything else I can help you with, you may sit down in the theater, away from others, and wait for her class to be called backstage. The entitled mother looked behind herself to see the entire line staring back, and hopefully she realized what she was saying. Come on, Kay. She snatches her kid's hand and storms away into the auditorium to find a seat. P.S. I am aware and believe events like this shouldn't be held in the first place, even with COVID regulations. I've had many disagreements with management on things like this. In my opinion, we should be 100% virtual. We are not currently, but during the worst times of the pandemic in my area, we were completely virtual. I would quit, but I know that without me there, they would continue on and COVID rules would be much less likely to be enforced. It also doesn't help that the US state and county that I live in has lifted many COVID laws recently. Our policies still do follow the CDC guidelines. At least all our teachers and employees are fully vaccinated and always masked. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, subscribe and make sure you click on the notifications bell. We would love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.